professional and personal and Toastmasters. We will listen, we will educate, and beside that, we will be recording this session. So you're not gonna miss anything. Even if you miss something or you want to share it with your club, we will send the recording to all the people so they will be educated and know that debate is what we all need. Now, Didon, thank you for accepting being with us. We love you so much. You are not my fave only, you are our fave, and I accept that. So the floor is for our Don Prades.
Before everything else, I'd like to check if we are all properly connected. Now, good morning from Toronto, and good afternoon, of course, in Kuwait. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Absolutely loud and clear.
Great. Now that it is taken care of, let me say good morning, elite debaters, and then Toastmasters from Kuwait, and our honored international guests, and my home club in Mississauga, Canada, comfortably speaking. Some of them are here with us today. And thank you to the organizers for including me in this event. It's a great honor to be here with you today. The first time I gave a debate workshop was during the district meeting, DTAC as we call it in Dubai, when the whole of the Middle East was just one district comprising of 7 countries. Now we are 4 districts in a span of 20 years. Sometime in 2015, a group of dedicated senior Toastmasters in Kuwait approached and told me that they had a plan for their HPL. They wanted to organize a public debate tournament for their HPL project, and they wanted my help. HPL in the old Toastmasters program was a required project before a Toastmaster gets the most coveted award, the DTM, Distinguished Toastmaster Award, the highest award Toastmasters International gives to its members. They wanted me to teach the members how to debate. I told them that it was not a problem. Just give me the people and I'll do my part. They scheduled a workshop and over 100 people came. I was pleasantly surprised by the number of people who were interested in the debate. Next week, they scheduled another workshop on how to judge a debate. And for this workshop, more than 60 people came for the judging workshop. I was impressed by the organizers because of their ability to mobilize and bring people to come for the workshop. There were 16 teams that were formed, and the elimination round began. After an intensive 10-week elimination round, only 2 undefeated teams were left standing. And the championship debate was scheduled with no less than the newly crowned 2014 world champion of public speaking, Dhananjaya Hettiarachchi as the keynote speaker. It was held at the Arab Open University gym with more than 450 people in attendance. The organizers got the media involved. It was thoroughly covered by the local TV and print media. It was the best and the biggest HPL project. More than 150 Toastmasters were directly involved for the duration of the event. After the event, we saw an increase in the number of new Toastmasters in Kuwait. And thank you, elite debaters, for continuing this remarkable tradition. Now, people come to debate because debating is fun. You make friends and meet lots of people. You engage in thrilling contests with other clubs in Kuwait and possibly outside Kuwait. So then what is debate? A debate is a speaking event in which two sides, the affirmative and the negative, argue about a particular subject. The immediate goal of each team is to convince the judges and the audience according to their way of thinking and that their arguments are better than those of their opponents. That is what debating is all about. Now, debate gives the power to change things. Things need changing, and your voice can be a powerful instrument for change in your community and even in the world. There are great examples of notable debates that brought about change. Take, for example, the Kennedy-Nixon debate during the presidential election in the 1960s. That was the first time that debate was ever presented in a presidential candidate in the United States. Now, in that debate, Kennedy won, and he also won the US presidency. After that, every presidential election in the United States had debate, and most of those who won the debates won the presidency. Now, the second example that I can give was Obama and Romney during Obama's re-election. Now, they could not decide. The poll rating was always practically the same. No one was ahead. And then the debate, they said that the debate would determine. Now, 1 week before the debate, I watched an interview of Michelle Obama, the wife of President Obama. And she was asked by the interviewer if she was helping Obama in the debate. And she said, my husband has debated more than 1,000 times. He does not need help. And I said to myself, Obama is going to be in trouble. He is very confident. And that is why during the first scheduled debate, I tried to watch it. I was in Kuwait, 2 o'clock in the morning, but I woke up because I wanted to watch the debate. And the first 3 minutes of the debate, I told myself, Obama is going to lose badly in this debate. Just 3 minutes when it was shown. He was so tentative and he was not putting across his message. And when the debate was over, 80% of the American people thought Romney won. And after 1 week, he started leading in the polls. And then the handlers of Obama told him, the last two debates, you have to win them. If you don't win them, you are going to lose. And that's exactly what happened. I watched the two debates, and then Obama was well prepared, and he won the last two debates. And after 1 week, he regained the lead again and eventually won the US presidency. And then the last example I had, probably you were aware of the referendum in Scotland, because they were planning to secede or to get out from the union with Great Britain. Now, towards the end, when the referendum date was coming nearer, the secessionists, those who would like to get out, were leading. And then the Top Guns from London came and they start the debate again. To make it short, they won the debates, and Scotland decided to stay there in the Union. Now, see, these are very important. Now, the question is, why do we have debate in the Toastmasters? Now, any Toastmaster member who participates in a debate enhances the skills and three core abilities of the Toastmasters, which are the foundation of the Toastmasters program. The three basic abilities are better listening, better listening, better thinking, and better speaking. Now, better listening. When you are in a debate, you will not be able to evaluate a speaker, or you will not be able to argue, refute, and rebut if you have no skills in listening. In a debate, your listening skills will be further developed. Better thinking. Now, in a debate, it requires quick thinking to outsmart, out-argue, and outmaneuver your opponent. Most of the time in the debates, it's like table topics. After the constructive speeches, everything is all extemporaneous speaking. Now, it also develops your ability to speak better. You need to express yourself well in a debate to be able to convince the judges in the audience according to your own way of thinking. Debating also develops the ability to think fast, to present convincing arguments, and to articulate your own views. It has been said that we have not succeeded unless we influence people. That's what debating does to you. And you can persuade and influence them with the power of your words. Now, the next part that I would like to talk about is how to set up a debate. Okay, this is the first part. Setting up a debate. Every debate begins with a proposition or a resolution. The proposition or resolution is the topic of the debate. A debate proposition will usually one of three types: debate policy, fact, or belief. These are the three topics. Now, policy, it's about rules and regulations and procedures. This is the most common of the topic because you have enough room to argue if you are going to talk about the rules, about regulations, and about procedures. The second one is about fact. Now, this is not a good topic. How can you argue the truth? Okay, so there is not much room here to argue about because it's already the truth. And the last one is a belief. What is a belief? A belief is a conviction, something that you believe in. Now, the trouble with this topic is there is so much room to argue about. And that is why among the three topics, it is about policy, rules, and regulations that is the most important and very debatable. Now, here, when you are going to debate, you must be very careful with the wording. There is a special way in which the topic is expressed, the topic is written. Now, the subject that you choose must always be a subject of interest. It must be a declarative sentence. Now, for example, it always starts with the word resolve and then colon. I'm going to give you an example. Resolve that capital punishment should be abolished. It is a declarative sentence. That capital punishment should be abolished. Now, in every debate, every important word and the resolution must be defined. Now, in our example, that capital punishment should be abolished. What are the important words here? What are the key words that must be defined, that must be explained? Capital punishment. What does that mean? Because there might be different meanings there. And then the word should is very important in the proposition. It conveys the meaning of ought to, but it does not imply that it will happen even if you win the debate. That is what is meant by that. Now, the question is, why do we have to define the terms? Why should the meaning of each important word be defined and explained? So that the reason for this is so that the two sides will only have one meaning, one understanding of the topic. Because if the other side has a different understanding, then there is going to be no debate at all. And that's the reason why it is defined. Now, when I was still a student, normally during the real time, during the debate, the definition is done. But then you are wasting so much time because the time that you have will be wasted on the argument on definition. When I became a coach, I decided that the definition of terms should be defined before the debate so that they are not going to debate on that on real time. And so the two sides would sit down and try to define in such a way that both of them are going to agree so that there will be no more debate on real time when they have done that before the debate. Now, you should be very careful. Examine each word so that it does not give undue advantage to the other side. That is very important because sometimes the wording can benefit the other. You should be very careful on that. Now, the proposition or the topic should have only one issue that is going to be debated. Remember, because you have time limits, you have time restrictions. Now, in the example that I have given you, resolve that capital punishment should be abolished, there is only one issue for the affirmative, and that is it should be abolished. Should be abolished. That's the one issue that the affirmative has. And the negative side has only one issue, and it is the opposite of the affirmative. It is should not be abolished. So the two sides, one side is called affirmative and will say yes to the topic. Negative will say no to the topic. So remember that. Now, debate formats. A format is the type, the shape of the debate. Now, actually, there are four. The first one is what we call the British parliamentary system. Some of you have already probably seen the session of the British Parliament or the Canadian Parliament, wherein there is a debate going on because they are talking about the topic. That is why on the left side may be the opposition, and then on the right side would be the government. And when one speaks, he can be interrupted. Now, of course, you can always say, okay, later, 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 but there should be some time that you should entertain the question. Now, that is the British parliamentary system, and then the wording is different. Now, resolve that capital punishment should be abolished. Now, in the parliamentary system, it does not start with resolve. It starts with this house. This house, meaning to say this parliament. This house believes that capital punishment should be abolished. So that is the difference. Now, Lincoln Douglas. This originated during the presidential election when Lincoln was the candidate for president and Douglas was was the other candidate for president. So they had a debate one-on-one. Lincoln won the debate and he won the presidency. And now we have the American College debate. Now the Toastmasters is an American institution. That is why we are using the American college debate system. Now, this is the most popular. It is very structured. When one speaker is speaking, you cannot interrupt. At the end, then you can be interrupted. That's why it is very it's very structured. Okay, now in here, this is what we are using, and the universities as well use this. Now the fourth one, the last one, is cross-examination. This happens in the court. You know, actually in the court, it is a debate. Now, they do not call themselves affirmative or negative as we do in our debate, but the equivalent of the affirmative is the prosecution. Okay, and the negative is the defense. So you are accused, so I am going to prosecute you. I am the prosecutor. Okay, and then you are the lawyer of the accused, so you are in the defense. And they have a lot of cross-examination. You cross-examine the witnesses. Mostly, that is how it happens. Now, how do you prepare for a debate? Now, the first thing that you must do is take a look at the proposition or the resolution. Examine it word by word to make sure that there is no word there that is favorable to the other side. The next one is, again, the definition of terms. I've already talked about it, that the terms must be defined so that the affirmative and negative have the same understanding of the proposition. Now, you have to know the history of the topic. For example, capital punishment has been with us for the last 1,000 years, even before they executed people if they had done something wrong. The nature of the problem, and then the nature of the present policies. Now, they say that it is unfair because some innocent people, and it has happened in the States, are convicted and executed. And then, you know, once the person has already been executed, you cannot bring him back. And that is why that is why now the problem that we should abolish. That's how the problem started. Now, in every debate, there is what we call presumption and the burden of proof. What does that mean? Now, you see, resolve that capital punishment should be abolished. There are two sides, affirmative who wants it abolished, negative who wants it retained or not to abolish. Now, my task in the affirmative is harder in the sense that I want a change. And because I want a change, I must be able to prove without a shadow of a doubt that it needs to be abolished. Now, now issues in the debate. I mentioned early on in my talk that there is only one issue. Yes, that is true. The issue for the affirmative is that capital punishment should be abolished, and then the negative, one issue should not be abolished. However, when you are going to defend that it should be abolished, there are several issues that arise. The same thing with the negative. Now, for the affirmative issues, because you are advocating a change, so the first issue that you have is there a need for a change? You want is about, is there a need? Is it necessary to bring a change? Now, all the issues for the affirmative must be answered yes. Is there a need for a change? Yes. Now, the second issue, is there a plan by which the need can be satisfied? Okay, I am advocating the abolition of capital punishment. Do I have a plan? What is my plan to replace it? See, I have a plan. You are not just going to abolish it. You are going to give a plan. Is there a plan by which the need can be satisfied? And the answer is yes. Now, would the benefits outweigh the disadvantages? Now, in every debate, these are all the same for the affirmative. Those three questions. Now, the negative issues are simply exactly the opposite. Is the change necessary? Affirmative say yes. I will say no, it's not necessary. The proposed plan would be this. It should be abolished because we have a plan to replace it, and it is better. And then the negative will just say no, it's not better. It's even more disadvantageous. Now, the last one, the proposed change will not be a practical solution to the problem, because this change will solve the current problems that we have, according to the abolitionists. And then the negative will say, no, it will not solve the problem. Now, uh, and that is very important, that you know all these things. Now, after that, once you have examined it, then the research. When you are doing the research, you are not just going to do the research just for your side. No, you have to research both sides. Why? So that you are going to know or anticipate the reasons they are going to advance, and you should prepare for that. If you are just going to research your own side, no way, you are not going to win the debate. And you know what? During the presentation itself, it will show, most especially in the cross-examination. That is why it is very important. Now, where do we go when we do the research? Of course, the first one that we go to would be the library. The past issues of magazines and newspapers that carried the topic. And there are books about the subject. And that is very important. And these all have come from the experts on the topic. The other one that you can go to is the internet. Now, they say that the internet is the biggest library in the world. But unlike the library, there is no librarian, there is no reference section, and no one can tell you about the quality of this. It all depends on you. It is possible that the quotation came only from a student or from a person who is not expert. Now, be very careful on that, because if the others hide their research, you are going to be exposed that your quotations are coming from non-experts. And because they are not experts on this subject, their argument does not matter. You should only get arguments coming from, yes, of course, you can use the internet. Now, if the other guy did not research, then you are not going to be challenged. But the problem is, if he took it seriously and did some research, then you are going to be exposed that your sources are bogus. Your sources are not from the experts. Now, so that is very, very important. Preparation. Now, I'm going to give you some examples wherein preparation is very important. Now, I started as a high school teacher, and then I was assigned as the moderator of a debate, the coach of a debate club, the high school debate club of the university. And then towards the end of the year, the principal came to me and said that they wanted, during the university day, they wanted to present a good debate. And he asked me if my students could. And then so we started looking for other high schools to debate. But what happened was, it was towards the end of the year and they were not interested because they were preparing for the final exam. And so the only available one was the debating team of our college. And when I proposed it to my students, they said, no, sir, no, we do not like, we do not want to be embarrassed. They are almost professionals because they are already seniors. We are only kids. We cannot do that. And then so I said, no, you got it wrong. I said, if the university accepts the challenge of the high school, they are crazy. Why, Mr. Don? It's because they have nothing to win. If they win, the people will say, of course, they are university students. But if you win, you are going to be the toast of the city. Everybody is going to admire you. And the boys got interested. So to make it short, they agreed. And I went to the university and I said of this, and they have a ready team, experienced debaters, because they already won in inter-university debates. And they agreed. And the boys, the high school, I really prepared them. And then the university were so confident because they are just high school kids. And for 1 month, I trained them in the mechanics of the debate. And I got some of the teachers to cross-examine them. To make it short, the debate happened. And then the high school easily won because of their preparation. They won in a unanimous decision, the best debater from the high school. And then there was even, after the debate, the principal came to me and said, Mr. Prades, were your boys debating extemporaneously? And so I just said, you heard the debate, you saw my debaters, what do you think? I did not answer them. And he was so happy, he gave us money, okay, have a party with your boys. Now, why? They were well prepared. In fact, now you see, a debate is a performance. You have to impress them with your confidence and with your knowledge. One debater said, sir, I prepared an introduction, and would you please listen and tell me if it is good? And he, like I told you, it is a performance. He said, when I appear, when I speak, I will roll this in front of the audience. This is my speech, and this is my introduction. So he was holding the rolled paper, and he said, my worthy opponents, ladies and gentlemen. And he said, I come here with a prepared speech. The situation, and he started tearing up, the situation does not demand for a prepared speech. The situation demands that there should be an immediate class of issues. The speaker of the affirmative side said, this is my answer. And everything. And the people were stunned because he was delivering it as if he just presenting it like table topics. Now, but he did that for 1 month, prepared. Now, in a debate, you have to, if I'm affirmative and I am preparing, okay, I go to the negative side and what are the arguments that they are going to use? I write them everything here, and my answer, my response, my sources. Everything is documented. And then during the actual debate, because you are supposed to take notes of what the other guy is saying. So I told them, if he uses this argument, just check it, because you already have the response. And that is exactly what they did. All the possible arguments and the response, and they just check it. Now, what happens in a debate is that you are listening and you take notes. And by the time you look up, you missed a lot. That is, now, in order to prepare properly, list down all the arguments. And the possible, if he uses this is my question. It is very important. It will come in the cross-examination. Now, if you have not prepared, forget it. You will not do well, and it will be exposed. Now, this is now for the members of Elite Debaters. Last year, I had a flyer called Debate 101, wherein I detailed everything what the speakers have to do, when they are writing the prepared speeches. Everything from the introduction up to I detailed what needs to be there. So I am sure some of the older members of the debate still have it. The flyer is called Debate 101. All right, now, here is what happens when you are going now to have the debate. You see, in every debate, there is a chairman. Okay? Now, the chairman opens the debate and he gives a short background about the topic. But he is not supposed to say anything favorable to the debaters. He is going to be very neutral. And then he is going to explain the conduct of the meeting, the procedure. Now, the chairman acts as a referee because there are instances wherein the argumentation is getting heated up. Sometimes, they are going to shout at each other during the debate. It happened. I've seen so many debates in my students, and then sometimes they shout at each other. It's the job of the chairman to have the order. And it's the job. If there is a problem, it all depends on the chairman. Now, I'll give you an example. I taught the course at the American University of Kuwait, and there was a debate. And then during the cross-examination, the guy did not try to answer yes or no, because either way, he would be caught. And so he kept on explaining, and then the one asking the question, I just want you to answer yes or no. And he refused. And then he went to the chairman, Mr. Chairman, the speaker refuses to answer. And then the chairman got his gavel and immediately pounded the table, and he said, Mr. Speaker, answer the question. And then the people applauded the action. So he is the referee, okay? And that is very important. Now, in a debate, there is what we call a constructive speech. And this speech is very important, okay? Especially the first speaker. The first speaker outlines the plan of what the side is going to take. First speaker, affirmative, and then the second, and then the first speaker of the negative. They are very, very important. Constructive speeches. Now, cross-examination. Now, the constructive speech, it will be discussed by another speaker, so I'm not going to talk much about this. I am just telling you the procedure as to how the debate goes, how the debate proceeds. And then after the constructive speech or the prepared speech, there is what we call cross-examination. Now, the common mistakes, because you are being timed, the common mistakes of the one asking the question is that it's practically a speech. No, if you are prepared, like I told you that you write down, if he uses this argument, this is my answer and this is my question to get him. Now, preferably, the preliminary questions would be yes or no to make them admit to something. And then once they admitted it, get them. Now, that is the cross-examination, and somebody is going to talk about this, so I'm not going to talk much about it. Now, in the cross-examination, a debate can be won in a cross-examination. I will give you an example. of a debate. This was a university, inter-university championship, national championship. And the topic, I was a student, and the topic at the time was about the Hungarian Revolution. You know, the Soviet Union invaded Hungary. And then because the freedom fighters were just students, the Soviet Union were using machine guns and then tanks. And then the students were just using stones. And then Molotov cocktails, you know, a bottle and then gasoline, and then burn it and threw it at the tank. So the revolution lasted only a couple of weeks, and then they were subdued. And then after that, that's the history of the topic. And so the proposition was resolved that the free world should have helped the Hungarian freedom fighters, should have helped. And then in the cross-examination, remember this is a cross-examination, the one examining from the negative, in your constructed, this is the setup of the question. In your constructive speech, you mentioned that had the free world helped, the world would have been globalized. It would have become global. Yes or no? Yes, I said that. And then his question, how sure are you that the war would have been globalized? And the other guy was well prepared. And when the question was, how sure are you that the war would have been globalized? And he just threw back the question, Mr. Speaker, how sure are you that it would have not been globalized? So he was neutralized, and the people could not contain it. They stood up and applauded the speaker, or the one who answered. It was beautiful, and right then and there, that's where they won the debate, in the cross-examination. That is very, very important. So now, the last part is what we call rebuttal and refutation. Now, to rebut, meaning to say to prove a person or a statement that it is false. And a refutation is to show evidence or to prove that you are wrong or your evidence is wrong. That is what is meant by to refute. Now, in the current setup, in the Toastmasters debating, only the team captain is able to give the rebuttal and refutation, and then the summation. Now, I would like to, now when the best debater is chosen, more often than not, it is always the captain, because he has the chance to speak more, to refute more, to rebut more. And that's the problem. In the others, they just had the prepared speech and then the cross-examination. But I have 3 and you have only 2. The captain has 3. Now, in universities and in my students before, everyone, if I am the first speaker, I am going to rebut and refute the first speaker. The second speaker does the same thing. Now, the team captain rebuts those that were not taken by his fellow debaters, okay, and gives the summation. Now, in that way, everybody is on the level playing field. So I don't know, that is only my suggestion. So to summarize what I have said, it is very important to prepare for the debate, because In most cases, debates are won on how you have prepared for the occasion. It is very important. All right. Now, so it starts with a resolution, and a resolution is the topic of the debate, and it is stated formally, all right, in a declarative sentence, resolved that, and it normally it's a policy, a debate on resolved that capital punishment should be abolished. It is a declarative sentence, okay, and then all the terms, all the words that are significant to the resolution should be defined so that the affirmative and the negative will just have one understanding of the topic. Okay, and so in the debate procedure, three things happen: the constructive speech, and then the cross-examination, and then the rebuttal, the refutation, and then what we call the summation. You are going to sum up your contentions, what you have said. All right, so that ends up my little talk on how to prepare for a debate. And I think if we have some time, we are going to answer some of your questions if you have. And back to the MC of, yeah. Now, yeah, okay. Ask your question.
Question. I have a question, DTM Don. That was a very informative length, breadth, and it's mind-opening to all of us as a learners. Thank you very much for the informative session as a presentation. My question to you quickly, DTM Don, is it that we have not prepared well enough that we cannot argue much, and we have given up that many of the times the negative topic who choose the negative topic are mostly the winners? Why, and what is your opinion about it? Is it that we did not argue or debate enough, that negative non-affirmative people are winning the topics mostly?
Or say, okay, with regards to the topic, okay, they are agreed upon by both sides. And in your contention that those who chose the topic normally win the debate. Now, I really don't know about that because it was presented to you, to the others, and it was accepted. All right. Now, if, like I said in my presentation, you have to examine the proposition, the wording. Is there anything that favors their side? Because there are instances that it happened so many times, even in COIT debates, that the other side that complains, no, that is, this word is favorable to their side. Okay, okay, talk about it with your with the other side and agree on the word that can replace it. That is why the two sides have to meet and try to determine how the proposition, the topic, is going to be expressed in a declarative sentence, so that the so that there is going to be equal. It's level. The playing field is level for both sides. Yeah,
Thank you, DTM
Thank
Don.
you.
Thank you so much for your time with us. Thank you, Ram. I'm sorry, everyone, we're slightly running short of time, so we won't be able to take more questions from DTM Don. But what we can do is, once we conclude this meeting, we can have an informal session later for those who are interested in, to exchange information with DTM Don. I request everyone to quickly unmute yourselves and give DTM Dawn a big round of applause for such an enriching session with us. Thank you, DTM Dawn. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, DTM Dawn. We miss you here in
So much.
Yeah, thank you, Dawn.
Thank you.
All, moderator, could you please mute everybody?
The next presentation will be more interesting because it will talk the prepared speeches. We call it in debate, the formal word is constructive speech. How to do it. And like I said, I had a flyer wherein the things that need to be done by speakers, affirmative and negative, are indicated there. If you follow the guidelines, you are going to be safe. So thank you very much.
Thank you, DTM Dawn. Thank you so much. Can I request everybody to quickly just turn on your video so we can take a quick photograph of everyone together. We're just having like a group picture taken just to keep this meeting in our memories for a long time. Quickly, just for about 10 seconds maybe. Anwar, are you ready for the picture?
Shyam Sundar, Toastmaster Shyam Sundar is taking the picture.
Okay.
DTM Noor, if you are also available, please, could you also take the photograph, please?
And please indicate once the picture has been taken.
Yes, some handsome faces, I can tell you, and some beautiful faces as well.
Are you going to send it to Hollywood?
I would like to. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah, guys, attend the next workshops by competent leaders in elite debaters because they will give you more details about how the debate goes. Constructive speech, cross-examination, rebuttal, and refutation. Those are very important components of the debate.
Thank you, DTM Dawn. Thank you so much. For all the attendees, I would request you all to check out our profiles on Facebook and on Instagram and follow us if you enjoy this concept of debating. It's Elite Debaters. That's the club name. So feel free to join us, follow us. Also, we are having a lot of, kindly mute yourselves, please. Also, we are having a lot of new joinees who are interested in debates as something new. So if you do feel that it interests you as a Toastmaster to participate in debates, to learn more about debates, to excel in debates, Elite Debaters is the club. So feel free. We are the only debate club in Kuwait, and we have the guidance of Sir DTM Dawn with us, and we are sure you'll have an enriching experience with us. Just to announce the next workshop, it's on next Saturday. We'll be having it in the morning. Operator, could you please mute everybody? Moderator, can we mute everyone? Yes, so we'll be having our next workshop next Saturday morning as per the Kuwait time. It will be between 10 to 11. And this workshop is going to be specifically on how to prepare a winning debate speech. So that will be just an add-on to what DTM Dawn has spoken today, slightly more details on how you prepare a very competitive speech for yourselves and how you win the debate with that winning speech. So thank you all for being here. I'm sure you all have gained a lot of knowledge from this session with DTM Dawn on how you need to research your topic, how you need to present it, and what the entire concept of debating is really all about. Something so exciting. This is going to be an unforgettable May, and Elite Debaters has just begun. So join us on this journey and be a part of all our workshops. I'm sure you all will gain a lot from it, and we look forward to having all of you with us. Thank you, and I call this meeting to an end officially. For all those who wish to be here with us for the networking, please stay around. For those who need to leave, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you.
The link to the recording will be shared in our Instagram page, and we will also upload it to our YouTube channel, and we'll provide the link in our Facebook page as well. So everyone will be updated. Over to you.
Also, there will be a feedback form being sent on the group as well. So for all those who are interested to fill in your details, or if you want us to reach out to you, we would. So please fill in the feedback form that will be shared on the group, on the Zoom group chat. Yes, it's just been shared right now, so you can fill that in as well.
Thank you. Wonderful.
So the meeting is officially over. Thank you so much. DTM Don, if you are available for some more time, and if there are any more participants who would love to informally speak with DTM Don with their questions, any question and answer session, we are here.
I did see Toastmaster Rafiq Ahmed had raised a hand a couple of times. Rafiq Ahmed, are you there, please? Toastmaster Rafiq. Well, he's not here then. Whoever started the next question, please. Could you continue? If you have any questions to ask. Now the meeting is over. Now the floor is yours. You can ask as many questions as Don as you wish.
Yeah, I have a question for DTM Don.
Yes, okay.
Very wonderful session, fantastic, good Saturday spent. So my question is, you mentioned presidential elections as a good example to watch. Any other debates you suggest to watch?
Now, I think on YouTube, there are debates. Now, university debates, high school debates. I have not checked it lately, but before I saw some nice debates actually. But I have not. Yeah, you can. Now, usually in schools, there are always, now at American University of Kuwait, where I taught, because I had classes, and so we always had debates. I developed a course, and then the university approved it, and then I taught it, and we always had debates. So it's yeah, and the only way to improve is to participate in actual debate.
Right.
Yeah. Now, most especially in elite debaters. Now, that club is solely dedicated to debates, and all the members, please try to participate. You cannot lose, because even if you lose, you are going to learn a lot, and that is how you are going to enhance the skills that you have. The only way to do it, the only way to improve in debating is to actually do it. The same with speaking. You have to speak. And even in table topics, the more you do it, the more confident you become, and the more skills you are going to acquire in the process. Never mind thinking of winning or losing now. The most important thing is, what skills are you going to learn to help you in the process? It's not a matter of winning or losing. No, it's a matter of what skills you are going to learn. Okay, thank you for the question.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, any more questions?
Yeah, so one from me, Don.
Yeah.
Toastmasters use Robert's rules. Does that automatically mean if we use debating in Toastmasters, we use the British parliamentary system?
No, we are using the, because like I said, the American institution, Toastmasters is something American, and that is why we are adapting it. And this format is better for the Toastmasters because it is structured, meaning to say there is going to be no interruption while you are speaking. And then after that, the opponent will be given a chance, which is what we call the cross-examination. And that is very important. Now, in the British parliamentary system, the cross-examination now is when you are speaking and then you are interrupted. And then a question is asked. It's up to you whether to entertain the question or not, because he is going to say, okay, point of clarification. Now, if there are so many questions, and then in a debate, you are only allotted a certain period of time. And then if if they start asking questions, then it's very hard. That's why it is not it's not the good format for our debate. It's not a good format. The one that the American system is good because you are given a certain period of time, and then if you exceed the time, you are going to be stopped by the chairman, and then the judges are going to be instructed to disregard the last portion. For example, you are presenting an evidence, and then the chairman, the judges are instructed to discount it because he was over time. Yeah. Now, the British parliamentary system, it's better because they have no specified time. Now, in the Toastmasters, we have a specified time. That is why it would be very hard to use that. Okay, thank you very much for that.
Thank you. Don, there is a question. A couple of people wanted to know, are you a professional speaker? Where do you work? What's your background? If you could tell us a little about that as well.
No, I am not a professional speaker. I was a teacher, but I am retired now. My last posting was at the American University of Kuwait, and I retired in 2019. So, but I am not a professional speaker. I've been with the Toastmasters probably when some of you were not born yet. That's how old I have been with the Toastmasters. But Toastmasters actually has helped me a lot, even in looking for a job. During interviews, more often than not, we talk about the Toastmasters because I introduce it, and the interviewer gets very interested, and we talk about it. Yeah, so it's quite interesting.
Thank you so much, Don. Thank you so much for that. Yes, Prince, anything to take forward now? I think we can take a couple of feedback since there are a number of us here. About 40 people still staying back to ask questions. If you could leave us, if you would like to have a copy of the recording, if you could just send us your email IDs, we would like to forward that. Apart from that, elite.debaters, we are on Instagram and on Facebook, and we have our Elite Debaters YouTube channel as well. The recordings will be available, all 4 recordings for all the 4 weeks.
Good.
Now, Don, there is a question over here. Can I read that out to you?
Yeah, okay.
All right. How to deal with a topic that is against somebody's beliefs?
Okay.
How
Now,
to deal
first
with
of
a topic
all,
that is against their beliefs?
Now, first of all, when you are preparing the 2 sides, you must already talk about the shall we say the evidence or the topics that should be excluded. for example, religious beliefs or constitutionality. Now, normally in a debate, they are excluded because you don't want to be arguing against a religious belief or something, because it's a very touchy subject. So it all depends on the two sides as to which arguments are going to be excluded. Now, like for example, in the proposition that I gave, resolved that capital punishment should be abolished. Now, if I say it should be abolished because it is against my Christian belief. Now, most religions do not approve of murder or killing. And when a government executes a criminal, that's killing. Now, so a lot of religions would not like that. So arguments on religion, constitutionality are normally excluded, but it all depends on the debater themselves. They talk about, okay, this is about religion, so do not use that. So it's an agreement between the two sides. Does that answer the question?
I think so. I think so.
Okay, good.
Right. Prince, if this is all, President, could we call it a day?
Yes, we can, Gayatri. There's just one more question that I noticed on the group. There's something from Toastmaster Mayur Nigandi. He's asking that after research, will it be better to quote important case laws or personality opinion to strengthen your stand?
Yeah. It is part of your evidence. Like I said in my talk, when you are researching, be sure that they are the experts on that subject matter. Because if you are going to use the internet, thereby some of the arguments which you like might have been given by just students or people who are not experts. Now, if you use that, if you are not careful, it will backfire, because what they are going to do is they are going to zero in on the credibility of your evidence, that the source is not valid, because who is he? He is not an expert. Now, my evidence, this comes from experts on the subject. So, yeah, it is very important. Now, like there was one time when there was a debate wherein actually the topic was arranged marriages are better than love marriages, wherein it's not arranged. And then the speaker who advocating for the arranged marriages, he had beautiful research, but they all came from India. And then during the examination, it was totally destroyed. Now, because during the cross-examination, the opponent just said, okay, did you make some research? Did you thoroughly research your subject? And then, of course, the answer is yes. Could you please give me one research that came outside from India that arranged marriage is better? And then, of course, he could not produce because his research was incomplete. Right in there, the debate was lost. Because now because in the first place, the proposition, now if the topic was it was only in India, again it would have been, because originally it was only in India, and the other side objected. They said that no, the topic favors the other side, and so they changed it. They made it universal, arranged marriage in general. not just in India, because in India, practically 90% would say yes, it's better. Now, and so that is why, like I said, it's very important that you examine, because in that part, originally it favored the other side. So they made it universal. And then in the cross-examination, the other guy was able to ask a question, into question. Your research is only devoted to one part of the world. We are not talking about India. We are talking about the world. Now show us your research outside. And of course he could not, because he stopped researching and he did not find any. And so, like I said, if you have not researched well, it will come out in the cross-examination.
True. Thank you, DTM. Thank you, DTM Don, for
Okay.
such good information.
Thank you, DTM Don.
Last question. We'll take one last question before we close for the day. I can see a question which has been raised by Mevlut Satmaz. The question is, a golden question, DTM Don. How do you stay calm during a debate? And you're the expert who can answer this to us.
Yeah, this is very important. I have seen debaters who are excited, and now again, it all boils down to preparation. And when you are prepared, you go there confident, and you are going to be calm. Now, it takes some practicing. Now, normally in a debate, if you are excited, your voice goes up. You tend to shout. No, again, it comes into practice. The more debates you participate in, you see, it is a skill. And a skill is something that we acquire. It is something that we develop. It is something that we improve. And so also with debating. So that's the best thing. Now, I mean, for example, playing cricket. The first time you do it, you are not very good. But the more you do it, the better you become. The same thing with speaking. The same thing with debating. The same thing with table topics in the Toastmasters. The more you do it, the more you become confident of yourself, and the less you are going to show the nervousness, because nervousness is always going to be there. In fact, to be nervous in a situation like that is normal. It is healthy. It becomes unhealthy, it becomes abnormal if you are not able to control it. And how will you be able to control it? Preparation and more exposure to speaking situations. So again, it boils down to preparation.
Thank you, DTM Don. You've answered all our questions, put all our queries to rest. Thank you so much for such an enriching session, DTM Don. We really had a great time and we learned a lot with you today. As always, you've been a legend for us. Thank you for spending time with us and being with us today.
Hey, thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Also, thank you to all the members who have been here with us through the debate, all the participants who've been here. I'm pretty sure everyone has really learned a lot today. Thank you also to DTM Don's home club in Canada, who's with us, who've also logged into this meeting with us today. Thank you, everybody. We look forward to everyone being with us also for our future debate sessions and also for the workshops coming up. Thank you, and I would like to call this meeting to an end. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Okay,
all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Love you,
Thank you. Enjoy
Don.
the day.
Thank you.
Take care, all.
All right. Have a nice day.